General Petraeus, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for your many decades of distinguished service.
Thanks for your own service.
Our country. In your testimony, you've broken your main areas of focus down to Iraq, Syria, and Iran, and also you recognize the interrelated nature of them. I want to start with the section on Iran, where you emphasize that the nuclear deal, whatever its short-term implications for the nuclear program, cannot be seen as ushering in a new age of accommodation or conciliation of Iran's interests in the regions. Given what's happened in Syria over the last month with Russia entering the picture, how do you think that our Arab and Israeli partners in the region view our current posture towards Iran's influence in Syria?
Well, I think they're actually waiting to see right now, frankly. I think that's why I inserted the point. I talked to a number of those individuals and on a quite regular basis, and they have expressed concerns about the future. And they want to see us continue to counter malign activity by Iran if that continues, and we have to be very, very clear about that. Beyond that, I think, again, the very clear ironclad statement about what would happen if Iran moves towards weapons-grade uranium enrichment after the 15-year mark, or if they should do it before then, that has to be very clear as well. That would speak volumes.
You helpfully recommend in your testimony a few concrete suggestions for policy direction for each of Iraq, Syria, and Iran. There's one related to Iran. It says, quote, additional actions to demonstrate that the theater remains set with respect to our own capabilities to carry out military operations against Iran's nuclear program if necessary, end quote. Would you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Thanks, Senator. In fact, when I was the commander of U.S. Central Command, we developed a plan that would attack Iran's nuclear program. It was quite thoroughly developed, rehearsed, and the theater was set. In other words, as a logistician, as Senator Ernst would appreciate, we had all the bed-down sites, we had munitions positioned, the fuel, everything is there so that if you need to conduct an attack like that on relatively short notice, you can do it. The theater has remained set by and large ever since. I think there's the possibility of adjustments now because some of the countries in the region, I think, would be more accommodating to basing than they were at that time, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia foremost among them. So again, I think it's time to very publicly lay out how we have postured our forces, again, not giving away major secrets here or something like that, but ensuring that the region knows and Iran knows that if need be, we can do what is necessary with our military forces.
What message does the absence of a United States Navy aircraft carrier group in the Persian Gulf send to Iran, Syria, and Russia on the one hand, and the Sunni Gulf states on the other hand?
It says that there are limits to U.S. military power. What I don't know is whether that means that there's none in not only the Arabian Gulf, but also in the Arabian Sea. In the past, we've actually had two out there, or at least a minimum of one, although that one might sit off the coast to sort of south of Pakistan, flying its aircraft up into Afghanistan every day. And if there's none in either of those locations, again, that's a statement that there are distinct limits to what it is we're capable of doing, and therefore there are limits to what we can do to help the forces in the region.
Moving northward to Syria, you write in one of your proposals for Syria, we could, for example, tell Assad that the use of barrel bombs must end, and if they continue, we will stop the Syrian Air Force from flying. I suspect that he will not listen to us if we tell him that, so we must stop him if we want them to stop. Did you propose this policy to President Obama while you were in government?
Yeah, when Syria started, I was the director of the CIA, not in uniform anymore, and certainly didn't have any responsibility for military actions with respect to Syria.
Did you support that policy that others recommended?
I don't remember a recommendation of it. I don't remember barrel bombs at that time, frankly. Again, this is the very early stages where there was no Lebanese Hezbollah, there was no ISIS, there was no Jabhat al-Nusra, there was no Khorasan group, and there was no maybe limited Quds Force advisors on the ground.
And now there's Russia with surface-to-air missiles and fighter aircraft. Could you explain to us what exactly it would look like if we were to stop Assad from using these barrel bombs or to ground his aircraft, given the presence of Russia in such heavy numbers now?
Well, I think Russia would probably get a little bit of advanced warning once certain assets are in the air. This doesn't mean that you have to penetrate into the integrated air defense of what might be left of that integrated air defense of Syria. You can do this with, again, lots of different forms of cruise missiles coming off of ships, subs, and planes.
Thank you. My time has expired.
Thank you, Senator.